Flame on! How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here with my welcome to the first Anime Blaze of 2026. Let's bring our co-host on, Nick Lenz. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
And we're starting with a decent one today. We're starting with the Rising of the Shield Hero Season 1.
Yep, a season that came out 7 years ago.
Can you believe that?
Yep, and apparently, the only reason we got other seasons like seasons 2, 3, and 4 was because in Japan, this season did not do too well in Japan. But apparently, here in the US, it did really well. So much so, Crunchyroll personally contacted the studio and greenlit 2 more seasons, which we got those, and we'll talk about those another time for those 2 seasons. The first season is also the only season to be 25 episodes to date, because seasons 2, 3, and 4 are like half that length.
Yes, and to briefly explain that, usually, and this is with light novel adaptations in general, usually most light novel adaptations follow the seasonal format where it's strictly for the anime season. It's kind of like a placeholder to where you get a whopping 12 episodes, maybe 13 if an OVA is included as like a bonus episode.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 13. Season 1 of this particular anime got a full got a full 26 episode length anime season dedicated to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this could have been because they were transitioning from Verge to Crunchyroll for streaming distribution, so that could have played a factor. But like Nick said, this is the only season, at least out of the 4 we have so far, and I think out of any light novel anime season to get more than standard 13, because most usually don't, unless it's like
Mushoku Tensei it's been split in half. That one gets like about over 2 dozen. That's a Slime that has 24 episodes per season. I think what other one was there? ReZero that gets it too, gets it split into 2 cores.
yeah, unless that's what I'm saying. Outside of the core splitting of the cores, like and doing it that way, but you don't see like pure like season 1 26 episodes, season 2 20 something episodes. You get what I'm
I would
saying?
say probably that some Slime is the only one that currently does it, because that one does not split into cores. That one, I think
Yeah.
season 2 did that, but not seasons 1 and 3.
Okay, but
But
back.
the
Go
thing with
ahead.
the show, it adapted the first 5 books in a very weird way. There's one episode of the show they literally adapted half a book an episode. Don't know the reason for it. It just happened to be that way. The studio that made this is, if I can find it here, because at times they will list exactly the studio that made these shows. The DVD I have, by the way, I do have the very first season of The Rising here on DVD. I think seasons 2 and 3 are on DVD, but season 4, last I heard, is not. Let's see. I'm trying to find out exactly name of the studio that makes this. Let's see. The studio who made this one is. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. So most of the series is done by Kentama Citrus, though season 2 is done by DR Movie. And for the most part, is aired primarily in Crunchyroll, but also I think it may have aired also on Funimation as well when that streaming service was around. So one thing we should mention before we continue is the lead voice actor for the show, who voices Nafumi, Billy Kimmets, because 2 years after the season concluded, he passed away. But he did reprise the role once. In the second season of Isekai Quartet, he came back for that show as Nafumi, and that was his only ever return to the character, because he passed away of the same thing Chad Bosen died of, colon cancer.
So let's pay our respects to a wonderful actor who really brought this character to life. And
and this is only the second show we've covered where he voices the lead character.
what was it?
Diamonds Unbreakable.
Oh yeah, he did. He was the voice actor for Joestar, wasn't he?
Yep. Though these are the 2 shows, this one and his character Josei Isagaya, are the only 2 I could think of the anime fans when identify Billy Emmett. These two are the primary ones people know him for.
Mm.
Though he's also been in a show like Welcome to Demon School Amicon, voicing a character, a guy named Alice, who's got pink hair and is taller than the lead character. It's a great show. See, 4 seasons coming out in April. But that could be another one possibly in the future, that one, because it's a very interesting show. It's kind of similar to My Hero, but different. So, our lead character, along with 3 other guys, are transported from what they describe as 4 different versions of Japan, where the other 3 previously died. Now, Fumi simply was transported in the middle of a library, and they're all given weapons. There's the Spear Hero, which he is the most hated character of the whole show. Him and one other female character are the most despised characters in the whole show. There is a Bow Hero, and there is the Sword Hero. The Bow Hero, a lot of the time, is depicted for he's going to be a complete dick. I would say almost as bad as the Spear Hero. Because he does this whole thing of like, oh, maybe he'll make money by being in the shadows, having a hero, and a lot of the time the characters try to chat each other about their other nonsense. Now, Fumi's practically the only character who does his job properly in the show, while the rest of the characters they think they're doing the proper job, but not really.
Mm.
So when they're transported, now Fumi is given a shield, and they describe the shield hero as like the weakest character because it's a shield. And also, there's also a bit of religion in the first season. The Church of 3 Heroes. Spear, bow, and sword. And they treat the shield hero as a demon and as basically a god to demi-humans. Because the fact that because people who run that church are bigots.
Mm.
And they get their comeuppance in this very season because after the season, the church is never seen again. Because they get rid of that church. Because even
we will get to it, Nick. I appreciate the insight, the energy, but we will get to that in due time.
Yes, so everybody gets a party. So then we have this adventure woman, which we're not going to call her by her new name, which we'll get that later, where she's like, oh, I'll join your party. And then, like, says goodnight to her. And then the very next morning, she accuses them of raping her. And I think anybody can probably say this. Excuse me, do you have evidence of the fact that he raped her? No?
Thank God I'm a small channel because I would have to edit all of this out. I would have to bleep all of this. But please continue. Yes. Please continue.
But that was a topic in the very first episode. Also, this is one of 2 shows where the opening episode is 45 minutes. The other was ReZero.
That is true.
And this is the only episode 1 is the only episode ever to be this length. Because all the rest of the episodes are normal length after this. As for the reason why it's 45 minutes, I do not know. It could be for a variety of reasons. Maybe just get a lot of story on the first episode. So they have this expensive armor, then it's taken from him overnight. So he just gives him all the money he has. And for some weird reason, the show, and this is never explained, he can't take off the shield. It's stuck in his wrist the whole show.
Yes. If there was a lore reason, like a curse or something, that's probably included in the light novel. But at least from what I've researched, no, it's branded onto him.
Yeah. Well, everyone else can basically put their objects away. He can't. So he's kicked out the palace. So he goes to a weapon shop, which this blacksmith will repeatedly appear in the show. Even as recent season 4, he will appear. He gives Nafumi his green cloak that he wears and the armor that he wears in the cover of this. You can't exactly see it with the green screen, but yeah.
That's actually what I used for the thumbnail. How about that?
Yep. So he gets the cloak. Pretty much the outfit he gets. Then he goes to pay a visit to a slave trader. And I know that this is very controversial, but this is what happens. So do not blame us what we're going to explain here, because this is what was present in the original light novel and the manga and the anime. Okay? So do not blame me for explaining this. Now, it's like he offers him a slave. And now, those that are curious, does he appropriate to her? No, he does not. He does nothing to her at all. He does teach after he finds the woman who becomes Raftalia in a cage by herself, buys on the spot whatever money he had left, and he basically just teaches her how to defend herself, be a sword because he can't quickly use a sword because he has a shield. And throughout this time, because at first she's like very short. Basically, Raftalia is a raccoon girl. And so over time, she goes tall in a very short span of time. And Nafumi does stuff on his own. And then eventually he goes back to the slave market, doesn't buy necessarily a slave, does this sort of game where he wins an egg. And the egg hatches, and that becomes Philo. There's a adorable little girl who turns into a bird. Which, yes, I have met her voice actress, Bray Knickerbocker, and I have asked her on a Twitch stream about this. I asked her, when you saw Philo, did you think she was cute? She said, yes, because Philo is cute. There's no denying the fact Philo is like the mascot of the show. She's just a fun, vibrant character. And of course, she got a cowlick atop her head, because of course she does. And for the first half of the season, he's basically like he has these two. He gets a wagon, of course, because Philo loves driving it. And then, of course, he does, like, over time, basically, because of stuff, the other heroes who don't do the jobs properly. Like, for instance, he comes across a town that was decimated by a plague that was started by a dragon's corpse. Which, basically, Nafumi and Raftalia had to climb this mountain wearing what appears to be this universe version of containment. Well, basically, since she received the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, the outfits they would wear, and they would basically just purify the mountain, and they purify the dragon's corpse. And this was all done by the sword hero. And in the case of the bow hero, we find out that apparently he took down some evil person running this country, and someone worse took control of the country. And if you're curious, though, what thing basically does the spirit hero do at this point in time? Does he like do anything really terrible that he gets chastised for? Aside from being an idiot, not really.
We're doing good, Najee. How you doing? And thanks for coming on yesterday for Creature Commandos 1 year later, which you can also find on the channel. But cheap plug aside, but yeah, I'll take over for a bit. But excuse me. That was just about all of. Did you wait? That was like the first 3 episodes, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
Yeah, but around the first half, because halfway it changes halfway through, where stuff gets a lot better for the hero.
Okay.
Where he does confront him, and of course, the reason why the woman's getting away with accusing him for something he didn't commit, because she's a princess, the king's daughter. And anytime he tends to explain himself, attempt to tell the truth, she's like, oh, he has basically some talking ability to brainwash people, despite the fact that skill does not actually exist. Because she knows the truth. And she does not want to get out. So, also in this period of time, we meet her little sister, Malti, who is the actual crown prince, who is the actual heir to the throne, not the older sister. They explain. Do you mind if I spoil this a little bit about the reason why?
I mean, the tagline's already there. It's been up there for a while now. So
Okay, the reason why, because the older sister is insane. That's why. And Malti is 12, 13 years old. And then throughout a lot of this, they run each other the whole area. At one point, the older sister tries to kill her younger sister and trying to blame her on the shield hero because she can. And also, we see the main reason why that the spear hero is so hated out of the entire cast.
Like I said, I have watched the show. It's just been a while since I last watched it, so I'm a little rusty. So if that's why you're noticing why I'm more quiet this go around, is because I'm rusty from the show.
Okay, so the main reason why that he is the most despised character in the show is because he's obsessed with Philo.
Wait. So this the spear bow hero, correct?
Spear.
The spear hero. Okay. So other than being an idiot, Philo's the child that turns into a bird. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. And he attempts to put a chain on her.
No comment.
I'm like,
no comment.
This is why I hate this character. Because literally he's obsessed with a little girl. And I'm like, why does nobody punch this idiot in the face? Or arrest him for what he is? Because technically what he's doing is illegal. He'll be arrested on the spot for this nonsense. I mean, know about Sword Hero and Bow Hero, but at least they're more decent than he is.
No, I mean, the Bow Hero's just a jerk. I mean, I'm trying to say this as cleanly as possible, but at least the Bow Hero's an asshole, but at least he's not this.
Yeah.
Say what you will about the Bow Hero, but at least he's not this. Good God.
Yes. And I don't know what this comes from, because you see in the anime, he is just randomly wants her for some reason. And this was also the episode when this happened. This is the episode where they adapt half a book an episode. They carry a lot out for this episode. This is from book 3. They adapt this from this scene. And then eventually, the Suit Heroes party is brought back to the capital because the actual ruler of the country has returned. Not the king. He is technically not the legal ruler. He is a husband of the legal ruler of the country. The queen, who was a lot nicer than he is. And of course, she does pose the obvious question: did he actually do it? And then she's put under a slave mark for the spear hero. And it turns out whatever happened in the first episode was a complete lie, all set up by her and her father. And as punishment for this, originally these two were going to be executed. So Natsumi's like, I got a better idea. Why don't we change their names instead? Let's change the king's name to Trash, because that's what he describes them as, and change the name of, well, actually, one of the names is a swear, I'm not going to say it here. The other, he calls her Whore. And she is stuck with that. She's like, no! She hated her name. Apparently, the king has no problem being called Trash. He apparently has no problem with it at all. Well, she's like, and she's forced to be Spear Hero's slave. Do whatever the heck he wants. He doesn't do anything to her at all. He just keeps her around. and believes every lie she says by him. And he got a party with girls. Though he later dumps them. And later season the show. And so then he's cleared. Also, prior to this, we actually have the Shield Hero taking on the Church of Three Heroes. Which, of course, the church is defeated by the Spear Hero. You also get a curse series. Oh, before we continue, the reason why these characters were summoned here. The battle of these series of waves of monsters. And they are led by a lord from another world named Glass and their party. Excuse me. He does fight her a few times, and there's one point that they cut this little scene out of the anime where when Horror is knocked unconscious, now Fumi decides to search her body. And Glass is like, what the heck are you doing? And they cut this out of the anime, mind you. Of course, it's cuts. No, this basically is like, unless you read the light novels, you're probably like, what? He really did that to her? Yes, he did. You probably think, like, did he do anything else to her? No, he just searched for objects. He didn't do anything else to her at all. Because some of my thinking when there's something else to her probably is payback for framing him for an accusation he didn't do. But nope. And the fighting on like a flying ship, which I thought was really cool. I thought the ship was really cool. And like fighting the sky. And eventually, there's also a time limit. And then, of course, they have levels, stats, because all these isekai shows got this stuff. Except for Konosuba, that doesn't have that, or Overlord. Just this one. This one, a lot of the other ones have this, you know, the stat screens that pop up that you see in video games. Pops up in this show and a bunch of other shows. They love their stat screens.
Yeah, that's the thing. Shield Hero doesn't really focus on on a power system or power scaling like that. At least not as much as you'd expect other light novel or isekai series to do. Overlord does this though. I'll admit, Overlord is more grounded than most. A real example would probably be Eminence and Shadow. They do a little bit of stats here and there.
But that one's something else altogether. Where
that's more of a parody of an isekai than anything.
I thought Konosuba was more parody. Like Emerson's Shadow was basically a character. The main character is he thinks the character he's like he acts like he's like a background character, and he talks himself a lot about the show. And of course, basically that the one who plays Sister I have met.
You have met a lot of voice actors in your time, have you, Nick?
Yes. Now, have I met the actors who voice Reptalia? No, I've never met Reptalia. I have met Theo. I think she's like the only person in the show who I've actually met at Comic-Con. She's like the only I can think of. Yeah, so the way it's come up a couple times the first season, it does not come up in season 2. 3 doesn't come up at all. So it's only the first season, but it's expected to come back. And there's always also a timer. And before the whole thing with the Church of Heroes got disbanded, because at a point they could change their class or level up, they couldn't. Because apparently it was illegal for them for some reason. So they had to go to their country in order to basically change their class or get leveled up. Because Here's Your Hero wouldn't allow it at all. But in the place, after the church was disbanded, they replaced it with the Church of Four Heroes instead. And the Spear Heroes were probably not depicted as demon, as originally thought. And also because he also gets various different shields, including a curse series, which later on, of course, 2 of the characters get that. Not the Spear Hero, he doesn't get it the whole, but the other 2 do.
I just remembered the Bow Hero kind of reminds you of Hoki from Aphoreta. They have similar personalities.
I think so, but he's also kind of the best way you can also describe him as this show's version of Hawkeye.
Now that you mention it, yeah.
As for the swordsman, I don't remember his name, but he's actually more nicer than the bow hero. As for he reminds me of, I'm not sure. Also, by the end of the season, they of course go to the country, of course, and then for some weird reason, I'm not sure why they do this. They start adapting book 6 and then partially have book 10 for like last episode because of the good work the Shield Hero has done compared to the other heroes. The Shield Hero gets its own territory to be lorded up by the Queen. And I've heard the reason why they did this because they didn't know if they're going to second season or not. They eventually did.
Which I think was like a 1-year delay.
Second season came out 2 years later because the following year after the show was COVID. Yeah, it came out. I think which was like 2 or 3 years later. I think it was. They did second season, which we'll get to another time, and the problems the second season had. Third season, and then the fourth season just came out of nowhere. I don't think anyone was expecting the fourth season because it was a special like committee that really wanted the fourth season to show, and we got it. Unlike Overlord, which is that's the fourth season as well. At least that this one is greenlit. This one has a fifth season coming. Overlord, I've heard rumblings of season 5, but nothing concrete yet. I do know that Konosuba has been renewed for season 4. I heard about it last year, and then they reconfirmed it again this year. That's because season 4, ReZero season 4 is coming out in April. So I got that it was supposed to come out this year too, second season. And the first season came out in, I think it was like 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And then the movie came out, which the movie is still not been dubbed yet for some reason. But yet the movie for Konosuba's been dubbed, but not Tanya's movie. Never understood that. And as I'm really curious, does Rising Hero like have a movie like Overlord and Konosuba does? No. Rising Hero just has the 4 main seasons, its light novels, and the manga. And there's a spin-off manga focused on the Spear Hero for some weird reason.
I was surprised that this series had a lot of spin-offs.
It had technically one spin-off of the main series, and you had the manga adaptation of both the main series and the spin-off series. But that was it that I know of. And because the fact the Spear Hero is not very well liked, I don't care for him. I highly doubt we're getting an adaptation of the Rise of the Spear Hero because it's probably not something people want to see adapted. Given how much of a despised character he is.
Fair enough.
Also, Philo becomes the queen of the Philos because she meets the previous queen and she takes like a jewel and she becomes the queen of Philos and she becomes like connected to her. And apparently the queen is actually an old friend of the actual king of the country. Yep. And she and Philo, Malty, the younger one, will have blue hair because the older sister's got red hair. You ever notice that? The 2 sisters got 2 different hair colors?
How about that?
Yep. They become BFFs. And they say that. There's no change at any time at all. He established on village. And the village itself, they do kind of explain in the show, the village is actually Raptalia's village. Yep, it's Raptalia's village that he takes over as the Lord of. And the way it works, we took Philo and Raptalia under his oversight. Apparently, they get power boosts like him. Like every time that they level up, he level up too. Though they get more stronger than he is. And at first, basically, Raptalia's slave mark would activate anytime that she would disobey Nafumi. After a while, he stopped doing that. It was there until like season 2, where it got removed. Uh,
Hmm.
though it got removed through different means. It was really well explained in season 2. We'll get to get to season 2, but after he stops, you know, well, using a slay mark on her as a way of punishing her, he doesn't really think into her at all. He basically treats her as an equal. And there's also hints in the first season of the show. I think it was joked by Philo that she might have a thing for Nafumi.
Hmm.
But thing is, it's slow. It's not like all of a sudden it's there, but it's slowly building. But it's just starting, but not yet. Despite the fact that he ends up getting like 2 of the other girls basically interested in him too.
Yeah, contrary to popular belief, not every light novel series has a harem archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Not every some of them do, but not all of them.
Yeah, this one it's only like one. One jokes with him about it. She teases him. The other one is just not like in love with him, but sees more like a big brother.
Hmm.
Yeah, compared to her actual big brother. But aside from, let me look up and see here. So we already know about now the person who voices Reptile is Erica Martinez, Erica Mendez.
How about that?
Yep, who is actually the voice of in the current dub for Sailor Moon, Sailor Uranus. Yes, that's the name of the character. Diane from Seven Deadly Sins, the lead character for Hunter x Hunter 2011. Let's see. She's also Puck from ReZero, which she still voices that character. She's also Melissa Shield from My Hero. She is Denki Cameron from Boruto. Let's see. She was a lead character in Yashahime Princess Half Demon. She was Bialza from Killing Science 300 Years Maximum Level. She was Ho Ashura from the Twilight reboot from Shaman King. I think it was the main villain of the show. I think it was.
The more
Uh,
you
Mi-
know.
yes. Miko from Demon Slayer. Oh, she's the voice of Megami from Konosuba.
Uh, can anyone join the stream? Nick, are you interested in this being open panel?
Sure.
Alrighty then. I will officially add the link, and anyone willing to hop in can.
Yeah. So the spirit hero's name is Matozia. He's voiced by Xander Mobius. Ren is the sword hero. He's the more likable of the ones. He's voiced by Alan Lee. Isuke, that is the bow hero. He's voiced by Eric Scott Kramer. Um, and that's the main heroes we have. Um, let's see. The the guy renamed Trash in the show. He's voiced by Jameson Prince. Oh, I have met one of that person in the show. The one is the Queen of Philos, voiced by Christina V.
How about that?
Which I'm hoping to see her again at Anime Might Orlando in August. Which
Well,
she's about a year older than me.
how about that? I hope it goes well for you, man.
Yep. Glass is voiced by Morgan Berry. She's a very interesting voice actress. But she's only been voice acting since 2015. And she was 13 from My Hero. She's Nash from Black Clover. Shirley from One Piece. I think that was the little girl who liked eating grapes from Dressrosa. Let's see. Um, let's see. She was in Dragon Ball Super as Kadoska. Let's see. Morha, the little sister of the adopted little sister of the main character of Toa and Yoshi Princess Half Demon. She was in Freeman. Oh, Sophia. I think that was the sword made from I was reincarnated as Prince of reincarnated so I take my time perfecting my magic ability. And she's the voice of the main character's mom in Tortilla Wants to Be a Kamen Rider. You ever
Hmm,
seen that show?
I have.
It's interesting to say the least, but it's also kind of weird.
It can get weird in places, not gonna lie.
Yeah, and there's no denying Colleen is so fun as Yuriko. She absolutely fits that character like a glove. I
Yeah.
don't, and the thing is, the character is a tribute to Stronger because apparently last year was like the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider Stronger.
Hmm.
Which the season itself, I think it's only has about, I think like 9 more to go, and then the season's wrapped up.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Maybe I need to catch up.
Yeah, it's only 15 episodes in right now. Um, of course, this show is the show where you have the main character is a fan of the original Kamen Rider series, who apparently like sold off his stuff because he had to pay rent. Obviously, he's like about 40. Yuriko is the stereotypical hot teacher who has a student who has a thing for her, but then he disappears after a few episodes. Of course, he thinks that, oh, because she's a beautiful woman, she thinks, oh, she must have tea time. And they cut to her lifting weights, which I think was so funny. Because this woman was jacked. For a woman like in early 20s.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I thought it was quite interesting, though, that she basically puts on the tackle outfit, and the only change she made to it, she added a skirt to it. Because if you see the original outfit for tackle, it does not have a skirt at all.
Hmm.
And she only one actually commits a bit because she actually puts on the costume. Takes a bit. There's a funny bit where she's changing. She changes in the middle of the street. Like, oh, she's tackle. All of a sudden. I'm not sure what happened to this dude. He just disappeared. Like, after a few episodes. And then you meet the two brothers who think they are V3 and Rider Man. I mean, I appreciate the guy who's V3. He at least wears the outfit the guy wore in the show.
I would I could see that.
Yep.
What's up, movie theater king? How's it going?
It's going all right.
So, what are your thoughts on not to spoil a future season, but what are your thoughts on season one?
Season one was pretty solid. Not gonna lie, it's pretty solid. It was pretty much over by the time of the whole multi execution and the whole final wave arc with L'Art and his company was pretty much like a little epilogue, though, and had a lot to grow after like the first season, and then now for me was slowly trying to trust people more and more at the request of the former Filolio queen. I forgot her name. But what really surprised me was like during season one, people were saying Monty should have had a better arc to where she was redeemed, you know? What did you think about that? That if she should have been redeemed instead of just a one note character.
Mm.
I do see where they're coming from to where they had potential, but at the end of the day, it just depends on where the story is going, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And of course, the princess, the one who got her name changed to whore, she's completely delusional.
Also, did you know in the like the night light novel and manga, the queen was radically different from how she was in like the anime?
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on. Is
They
there a
really
lag? Or is that just me?
I hear an
I think
echo.
it
I
might be me.
mean,
It's all right though. I just
yeah,
something I noticed. Please continue,
yeah.
Nemo.
But yeah, the Queen was a lot different from the light novel. I know some people from season one of the anime and season one of the light novel. I think certain things had to be changed in order to make them more, let's say, appealing and less horrible than they were. So, like, if we went
They,
full course, go ahead.
the first season went through the first 5 light novels.
Yeah, the first five light novels,
Because
but they handled things differently. Like the execution, it wasn't the Queen that suggested it was originally Naofumi after like a certain like panic like attack after seeing mine again for after a while. Princess Multi. The anger in him after seeing those two, he was like death penalty, death penalty, and the Queen was going on board and was willing to go even farther and further to a point where he didn't creep Naofumi out. I was like, calm down. That was our level.
Yeah.
now they did. Sometimes adaptations change certain details. You know, the downplay or I don't. Censor's probably not the right word, but play off certain scenes and interactions. And yeah, I could see that because in context, Rising of the Shield here can be a pretty dark story. Not as dark as Overlord or Berserk by any stretch of the imagination, but a pretty dark story in context. If you go purely by the light novel,
hmm
but
Would would you
oh,
agree? Would you agree that the Spear Hero is the worst character in the show?
The Spear Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. For now, aside from King Trash, because we can't spoil it for the future season. There's a lot more lore about King Trash than what was previously shown.
Yeah.
right.
But
And all,
yeah, Speed Hero is not a character I care for. I have described him as the worst character because of his obsession with Philo.
uh,
If you think
yeah,
it's
he
bad in the anime, the light in the light novel, it is worse.
you, yeah. Oh wait, I forgot. He also had a spin-off manga
He
called
did.
Redemption or Reprising of the Spear Hero.
Yeah, and that's one I do not see get adapted, given the fact that I'm sure anybody who's seen the anime probably don't care for Spear Hero, and I'm sure probably people who made the anime probably realize that and like, no, we're not going to adapt this.
If you purely want to, do like a random filler episode or an OVA, I could see it, but it's going to be a one and done. You're not going to
Yeah,
get if it even gets adapted at all.
yeah, and plus that spinoff only lasted 3 volumes.
Not only
So
that, he's still Philo.
that's enough for that's enough for a double length OVA episode.
Yeah,
I don't get his obsession with Philo. I mean, like in the like reprise manga, he's still searching for Philo after getting so many Philolials. He just
yeah,
keeps trying to get like both Philo, Philo and to save the Shield Hero.
yep. Who he calls him father because of obsession with Philo, and
Yes, he's in,
and Naomi's like he wants nothing to do with it at all
Philo was screaming to get away from him.
because
I
she
don't know
can't
how.
find him.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, that'll probably never see the light of day. And but like I said, if someone just wanted to just force it or make it work for completionist sake, but I don't see reprising of the Spear Hero getting adapted. I think that was just a running gag they did for shock value, and then it just ended up getting way out of hand. At least in my opinion.
If all I can tell, it's a spinoff that uh, doesn't count for the main canon of the main series. It does its own thing,
Okay.
and plus also when he appears in the most recent season of the show, he appears like 1, 2 episodes. He doesn't do anything at all. It's like his remote role in the series gets dramatically reduced. Probably because basically anime people who made it realized though nobody likes his character at all. Let's give him almost nothing to do. And then for some weird reason, they put him on Isekai Quartet Season 3 for 2 episodes. Where he still has obsession with Philo. And what do all the girls do who don't have cowlicks in their hair? Yoli punched him.
Is that really an appearance, though, if he's just there to be a punching bag?
Yeah, and the only character who did anything to him at all was Tanya and Albedo. Because they have cowlicks in their hair.
Mm.
And then because of his outrageous stuff and calling all the girls pigs who don't have cowlicks, he got suspended. And then he pops up for one more episode. And I tend to think, like, I was watching the show, like, what was the point of including him in the show if you're not going to do anything with him at all, aside from having to get beat up by all the nice girls in the show? And plus, the last season of Isekai Quartet didn't feel like as interesting as the first seasons were. It felt like a lot of the characters got almost nothing to do in a lot of the episodes.
It did kind of fall off after season 2, not going to lie.
Yeah, and according to Chris Guerrero, I actually asked him on his Twitch stream, why were the last 4 episodes delayed of the dub for the show? The reason? COVID. That's why.
There you have it.
Yeah, and when Ahu pops up in the show for Isekai Quartet Season 1, which, of course, this will be the last time we hear Billy Clements as. I know we probably won't get a chance to view Isekai Quartet, but his whole thing is that he shows up, doesn't do a lot. There's a funny bit where he participates in a dodgeball game. Oh, movie thinking left.
I'm sure he'll come back.
Yeah, he shows up there, roams around the school looking for Raptali and Philo. And in the last episode season, by sheer randomness, we have the 2 leads from Cautious Hero pop up in the last episode, and then they pop up at the opening episode of season 3, and then they're like gone. I'm like, what was the point of including these 2 characters if you can do anything with them at all?
I guess they did really well in Japan.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Cautious Hero. No season 2. There's been no movement on it. They've only had 1 season and nothing. And the first season only dealt with the first 2 out of 7 light novels.
Like 7 volumes or 7 separate books?
7 books. 7 volumes of Cautious Hero. And apparently, like, the first 2 books is the first arc. Second arc is books 3 through 5. And the third arc is books 6 and 7. And last I heard, the light novel series is on hiatus. I would think that there's plenty of material to do a second season, but there's been nothing. It's the only one of the shows part of this Isekai Quartet who've had no future seasons at all. And if anybody likes Billy Clements as a voice actor, which I'm sure a lot of people do, if you want to hear him voice Nafumi after the show, watch Isekai Quartet Season 2. He doesn't do a lot, but it's nice to hear his voice. And then when they do Season 3, they replaced him, which this is not surprising. They replaced him with the guy who replaced Season 2, Stephen Fu, who does not do a bad job voicing Nafumi at all. He came on Season 2. He did a great job in Season 3, and did a great job in Season 4. So, no complaints from me about Stephen Fu. Of course, he also replaced him on Walking the Musical Irmakun as his character Alice. But if you want to find the series on DVD, good luck finding a good price. I was lucky to get a good price this like about 6 years ago, but it's the only season that I got on DVD. I don't have. I think season 2 is on DVD. I'm not sure. I know season 4 is not. But the only show, and I talked about this to Bryce Power Book when I saw him, the series 7 Deadly Sins, only 1 season on DVD. Only 1. Just the first season. Seasons 2 through 4, there's no physical media for those at all. Don't know the reason for it. They just don't. At least Overlord has all their seasons on DVD.
Just about, and I think Overlord is pretty caught up, not counting the there was supposed to be a season 5 in the works after Sacred Kingdom, because I think we're up to volume 16 in the light novels. Thank
Uh, by the end of the fourth season, they got to book 14.
book
So
14. Thank you.
15, 16 next. Though, if I were the studio, if I were Madhouse, I'm sure people were a bit disappointed with Sarah. I know it was a very interesting movie, but there was too much stuff cut from the movie. Uh, if I were them, I would kind of do what they did with Mugen Train. Just readapt that for the show. Just put the stuff in they couldn't do in the movie.
Yeah, but that's a slippery slope because then you rock into get into like a reduxing territory to where basically you're doing a redo and just stretching it out. Now, I guess with a light novel adaptation, it's a bit more justified. Say with like movie recaps for like what Dragon Ball Super and what Naruto Boruto did. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can justify it in this case, but it's going to be a hard pill for casual fans to swallow. If that makes sense.
Yes, think of it as an extended version of the movie, but given how long the books are, I would think they could have a whole season taking the whole books up. Just don't cut much stuff out. Just have the first half of the season cover book 11, actually no, book 12, and then the second half cover book 13, and done. But the only thing left to be adapted is the books that they go visit the elves. And apparently, from what I heard, the light novel series reached at the end of book 17, and then when book 16 released here, this we're in a book at book 18. 18. So we have two books that are released, which they have not released in Japan yet for some weird reason.
After the success of the anime, it likely got an extension, but I don't know the full details on that because I try to be honest with you guys as much as possible. I'll research it, but to my understanding, it what the original series was supposed to end after 17 volumes, but thanks to the success of the anime, it got an extension.
By one book.
Allegedly.
Yes, and of all the books that cross up with Issei Quartet, Konosuba's light novel series has wrapped up. Risingoftheshieldhero is waiting for their revival to come out. Saga Evil, same story with that one too. Koshiro is on hiatus. I think like the only one still publishing of the ones part of Isekai Quartet is ReZero. It's the only one still being published. And I think in Japan they've reached volume 42 just recently.
Did Eminence and Shadow get a cameo in Quartet, or am I misremembering that?
They did.
Oh, they did.
They did, and I kind of put the blame on the cast of that show for delaying episodes. Because Eminence and Shadow is the only show that part of that Isekai show that is non Crunchyroll.
Yes, they're distributed through High Dive, I believe.
Yes, and I think because the cast of that shows different schedules they are, I kind of put the blame on them because any episode focused on them gets delayed because they're on different dub schedule than the Crunchyroll dub actors. Despite some of them do cross over between two of them, like Monica Riello's done both, Brendan Kowalski, Lucy Christian, these three have done both. But yeah, the rest of the cast, I think they're on different dub schedule than the main Crunchyroll actors. So I keep putting the blame on them because they're probably the primary reason why that a lot of that at least about 40 episodes were delayed. Like it was because of COVID this time. I think because of them. Which they didn't do a lot per se. I did appreciate where they mentioned the whole thing of their suits being slimes and the fact that Solution's a slime. And how some characters got similar names, like how the leader of the group is Alpha, and there's an Alpha part of the Battle Maze, and there's a Beta who is the werewolf girl. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah. But as for Shadow himself, he didn't do very much at all. He just went back over to him and his civilian identity. Like, he did nothing the whole show. And I'm like, what was the point of adding Emerson Shadow season 3 if you're not going to do anything with him at all, aside from a couple interactions with the cast overlord? I mean, Tani was there in all 12, 11 episodes, and she did nothing.
Your guess is as good as mine on that. But hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I have no idea what that was about, but yeah, um, all in all, it's a great season. It's very solid, and you for what episode are we on right now?
For which
For Rising of the Shield Hero.
this. Well, we kind of in a way recap kind of the whole season. I don't
Okay,
think we missed anything per se. Uh, just so I mentioned, kind of what's happening over the course of 25 episodes. Like you can think of like the first season, a lot happened,
it
and
did. It did. I mean, 5 volumes in one season. I mean, Jesus.
well, the third volume they get was not given justice in the show because they rushed that book. First, the books they did a really good job with, and books 4 and 5 did a pretty decent job, but not book 3. Not book 3. They kind of
Oh,
rushed it.
book 3 was rushed. They rushed through book 3. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I wanted to add an extra segment before we wrap up here. Breaking news. Any new news has come up this week, and recently, Netflix, in testimony in court, had confirmed Superman 2025 underperformed. Hence, why they were dropped after 45 days. Basically, they were largely explaining that the average movie theater cycle is roughly 45 days, depending on marginal success of the box office, and they dropped it early. They took it out of theaters early, I should say, because WBD thought deemed it saw it as a failure or saw it as it underperformed. Nick, what are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of the same situation with Star Trek Beyond, where they thought that underperformed despite the fact the movie was actually really good. Now, Superman, I thought it was a pretty decent movie. The one that came out last year, that was a great. I thought it was a really interesting movie. You had the main character, Superman, actually act like Superman from the comics. You had Lex acting like Lex. He wasn't over top maniacally. You have all the characters acting in character. Everything was interesting. Yes, the Justice Gang was something else altogether, but I kind of felt this though. Basically, James Gunn had a pretty good idea what he was doing. I think story wise and visually, the movie looked amazing, and the act looked amazing. The movie was good. I think probably the reason why it didn't do too well, I'm guessing could have been the marketing.
I would agree too.
Yeah, but it's not the extreme extent of some other movies that failed because of bad marketing. Look at John Carter. I heard that movie was really good, but the reason why that bombed in the box office was because of terrible marketing. Because what I heard, they did not know how to market that movie at all. This also happened with Punisher Warzone, with the actor who was one of the Warriors 3 from Thor. He played Punisher. He since passed away. That movie bombed for the same reason, bad marketing. And the Dread movie in 2012 bombed because of terrible marketing. And also the terrible 3D gimmick.
Yeah, because that's the one thing I remember from Dread 2012. The 3D was atrocious.
Yeah, I actually didn't see it in theaters, sadly. I saw a DVD, and the movie is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And heck, even the creator of Dread, the Judge Dredd himself, he loves the movie. He thought it was better than the Special Stallone movie in the 90s.
Now that movie was terrible.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can point to the reason why. Because Stallone didn't want to hide his face more than 15 minutes. While in the case of Carbon, he had no problem hiding his face at all. He had no problem with it at all. My only slight problem with the movie, he didn't say the word Drock.
But yeah, truly a shame. But
It's a minor thing, but the movie itself was a lot of fun. I didn't really care much for the slow motion stuff.
yeah, it did. It did get great. Oh, welcome back, movie theater. Hold on.
Is he back in?
He's having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But
I do appreciate them having a villain who is an actually very lovely woman, Lena Haley.
indeed,
Which this woman does not age at all. This woman still looks gorgeous for her age.
mm-hmm.
I think she's like 50-ish now.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But I feel like this bleeds into a larger issue as a whole. I'm not gonna go into the whole grift and like which content is better or Snyder Bro. I'm not gonna do all that. I'm not that type of. I try not to do all that on my channel. But ultimately, I just feel like this is just escalation between streaming and movie theaters in general. If you want to keep like Hollywood movie theaters in the status quo, Paramount is the safer of the two evils. But with Netflix, it keeps it trims the fat. It takes the baggage of DC and Warner Brothers out of Zaslav's hands without. Oh, Wi-Fi problems. Okay, thank you, Retro. Thank you for confirming that. Basically, Zaslav wants to keep his legacy and relevance with the company and not outright sell it off. That's
And it
the
seems like
only.
the only person anything nice to say about him is Tony Khan, because it seems like a lot of people say a lot of negative stuff about Zaslav, where he does not know how to handle stuff related to Warner Bros. Discovery, but yet when it comes to wrestling, he's spot on with that.
And I feel, and I don't get me wrong, these are all executives trying to make money at the end of the day. But I understand where Zaslav is coming from because he got finessed by Emmerich with Warner Media and AT&T. Let's be honest, with the way they were finagling the numbers and everything with the streaming success.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel his just position, and then the DCU is not going the way they want it to. At least if the Netflix's testimony is anything to go by. So
And
it just
according to Tony Khan himself, AEW is not going to be affected by this buyout at all because he's actually friends with people who from Paramount and Netflix because they both work together on the NFL Network. So AEW is going to be perfectly fine because some people are really worried that AEW might be canceled because Netflix is in bed with WWE. Nope, they're probably going to be perfectly fine. Because according to the contract they have, I think it's set to expire in 2028. The current contract they have with Warner Bros. Discovery, because the current contract they have is they just have Dynamite Collision on TV, and they also stream exclusively on HBO Max, which, according to Tony Khan, they're doing really well on Max. And I just heard that apparently the Collision episode that aired this past Saturday had 500,000 views for an episode of Collision, which, according to what I heard, is the highest number in a year on that show. Because the average normally like about 200,000 a week.
That's what I'm saying.
And this is because of like new. Apparently, this is like new stuff they're putting into Nielsen ratings, and that's why Press Wrestling is getting much more ratings boost than they have. Because last few months, apparently, when they switched over to this thing called the Big Data Plus panel, everything else skyrocketed, but wrestling took a hit for some weird reason, and apparently they didn't count it as people watching because they think, oh, people left their TV on for ads, and now apparently people are required to wear these devices to count people watching the show, including like they describe this new method as like universal method to get everywhere, which that could explain how a lot of these shows get a lot more viewership than usually. Like other shows aired this week, like last week, I think like SmackDown got the highest views. I think SmackDown was the highest, Dynamite was second highest, third highest was Collision. I think fourth was Impact Wrestling. Well, TNA Impact on AMC.
But thank you so much for that trivia and insight, Nick. But to make it a long story short, I just feel like that time will tell what ultimately happens. I mean, Paramount is going all in with this hostile takeover and trying to because no matter how we discuss it, no matter what factors we consider, the FCC Commission still has to approve any corporate deals being made.
Yes, this caused the kind of same thing happened when Disney bought Fox. But they didn't buy all of Fox. They just bought the movie side.
Yeah.
And the reason why they did that, some people think, oh, they get back the rights of Fantastic Four and X-Men. Minor reason. The main reason, Disney wanted their library. Which apparently, according to what I heard, it's bigger than Disney's.
Not by much, though.
Yeah, which I thought that was weird, but it's still kind of around the movie studio, except it's under a different name now.
Yeah.
And the stuff published by like the stuff made by them, like Alien, Predator, and Planet of the Apes, they got their input at Marvel now.
They do.
Yes, Planet of the Apes, I think, originally started adapting the original classic movies, and then they were adapting not the 2001 movie Planet of the Apes, they were adapting the Matt Reeves movies into comic form. They're
Oh,
expanding behind those. And Predator, well, one of the more popular properties, it's like he's crossing it with Marvel comic characters. Like first it was Black Panther, which that was interesting, and then he crossed up with Spider-Man, which that was weird. And now he's fighting the Marvel Universe. Aliens, they crossed up with the Avengers. Sounds like a very interesting idea that no one asked for. Right?
yeah, I agree. Definitely. Definitely. But so how do you see like Supergirl or Clayface working out in your honest opinion, Nick?
I think Supergirl might be fine because I think that's pretty much completed. It'll come out perfectly fine. But as how much marketing it will get, don't know. I haven't seen a trailer for it yet.
Wait, didn't they do the teaser and the Lobo, two separate teasers a few months ago?
I think so, but I haven't seen the teasers yet.
Okay.
For Clayface, I don't know who's playing him. Who's playing Clayface?
I don't think they even, to my knowledge, they've never officially announced him. If James Gunn has gone on social media and confirmed, I haven't seen it yet. So please let
And
us know.
also, I think the big question for Clayface is which Clayface?
I want to say it's Matt Hagen based off the BTAS episode.
It could be Matt Hagen. I know he's the more popular one out of the other Clayfaces, but some people mistakenly believe because he's the first Clayface animation, people think he's the original and that he was an actor. No, he's not. The original was Basil Carlo. And fun fact, the first Basil ever out to the comics was in The Batman.
Yep,
I found that interesting, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, and I'm like, why the heck was there Matt Hagen first? It made no sense. Because the actor Matt Hagen in the comics is not a actor. He's an archaeologist who basically stumbled across something similar to how Rex Smith became Metamorpho, except he found it in the ocean floor.
Yeah,
I think it was an archaeological diver. I think he was.
but the Basil Carlo origin being a washed up actor is the most compelling origin, and it's so interchangeable. Basically, the has been actor who gets a what was that material he used? He used to putty his face.
With some kind of makeup, but
Yeah.
but basically Basil was a serial killer originally, kind of because he killed me with a knife because he became like an actual Clayface because they made a movie he was in without him.
Mm.
That's the story goes for the original origin story, and mostly put that story intact for years until they made a new origin story from New 52.
Thank you for clearing that up for us, Nick.
Yep.
But I actually think in Batman Cape Crusader they actually did adapt the original Basil Carlo.
I think it's on Amazon Prime, isn't it?
It is on Amazon Prime. It was supposed to be on HBO. They licensed it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, he got full.
Is it good?
It's all right. It's all right. I at least be curious to watch season 2. But
No, I'm so weird they made Harley Quinn Asian.
I'm not really more perturbed by that. They basically, it's really more of a Hugo Strange episode. Really, you could have swapped out Harley for Hugo Strange in the context of that episode, and nothing in the overall story would change.
I think I also heard they gave Penguin a sex change where he's now a woman.
Either that, or it's Penguin's mom, or something like that. Penguin's mom, and then Oswald ends up taking over the business afterward.
I find that a little weird. And the fact that I saw it look like Harley is more dangerous as well. She's not comedic. She's more serious.
I suppose so.
Yeah, I'll eventually watch when I get a chance. Because right now I'm still watching Rise Soldier. I'm gonna start a Metal Hero series I really wanted to watch for a while. Gen person. When I go break, I may watch it. Who knows?
But what else did? Not a whole lot came out this week. And that was Have you read any? It is New Comic Wednesday, so any new titles you picked up today? Excuse me.
I No, I didn't. I don't have a poll list. I mostly, when I get a chance to read these comics, I read them online.
Okay.
Yes, I just haven't had a chance to read them yet because I'm trying to catch other stuff. So I might get them eventually. Depends on my good time. Right now, today I just did I saw a couple of sent views. I did a comic corner why I discussed the one of the things to discuss is the most recent trade released for Poison Ivy.
Which is that's actually a good series. I did not expect it to go on keep up this long, but that is a genuinely good series.
Yeah, I think it's almost 50 issues in, isn't it?
I want 47, 48, I want to say. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
it's getting pretty close. This trade here is the most recent one that just came out. I just saw it at my local Barnes. I'm like, oh, one I thought was really interesting was I think it was about a couple weeks ago. I went there. So the first trade for Dan Winter's Nightwing. Okay, I go next week. There's Volume 2. Just came out. Pick that up too. I was like, wow. That was. I don't know when the first trade came out for Dan Winter's Nightwing, but Volume 1 and 2 came out really quickly. Well, I can tell. I'm not sure if they did or not. For the trades to collect his run for Nightwing, which his run hasn't been collected very much in trade. He only collected like the first 10 issues so far in 2 trades. Because I got to review up to issue 129. Which mentioned when we talk about DC's solicits, is currently it's DC's highest numbered comic book that is not a renumbering or relaunch. Second longest is Catwoman. I think third longest is Harley. Isn't that something though? That it's like Bat books are the ones that last the longest, longer than even Superman or Green Lantern.
Yeah, I have noticed that. But Green Lantern had been pretty good recently.
Yeah, because Jeremy Adams did a great job with it.
He has.
Yeah, Kimu is one of 3 books he does now. He does this, he does Aquaman, and last I heard he still does Flash Gordon from Mad Cave. As far as I can tell, he does, but begs the question of why the heck they take him off Flash.
I have no idea, but Shy Spurrier. I mean, everyone has this unique style, but Cy Spurrier was not a good match for Flash.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting though they replaced him with Mark Waid and Christopher Cantwell. Which this is the guy who did Iron Man. That really good Iron Man run. I really enjoyed what Alex Ross did the covers for that one. It lasted about 22 issues, I think it was. Great book. Absolutely fantastic book. Kind of interesting he's doing this with Mark Waid, which is the second book he's working with him, because he also did that crossover with Justice League Unlimited and Batman Superman World's Finest. Which I don't think World's Finest get anytime soon. I think that one is.
That one's also coming up on issue 50, isn't it? In the next couple of weeks.
Yes, which probably has about the same amount of issues, probably just behind Harley right now. That one, right?
Right, I think so. I would have to look it up to be certain, but I want to say that they're at least 45 issues in.
Yeah. So I think that's probably like the fourth or fifth longest title they have right now, alongside with Ivy.
Yep.
But behind those titles, it's like all bad titles. Like Superman. Superman has lasted about almost 40 issues right now, the current volume, and no signs of anytime soon. Though I did hear that the first issue of Iron Man came out by Archie Williamson. I haven't read it yet, but one guy described it as bland.
Excuse me. Yeah, but is final thoughts. This was a great season. Hopefully we can push up to season two in the foreseeable future within the next couple of weeks. As for Comics Blaze, we are going to bring that back as well. And what storyline do you prefer we do next, Nick?
Uh,
Because we covered Secret Wars like last year.
yeah, we did. When we count to the counterpart over DC Comics, I don't think we covered it for comic plays I can think of. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Hold on, did we cover Crisis on Infinite Earths? I don't think we did. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either.
Yeah, so let's do that. We'll cover Crisis on Infinite Earth because I recently did a Tomorrowverse retrospective a while back, about this time last month, leading up to that. So yeah, we'll our next Comics Blaze episode will be adapting Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Mm-hmm. And we still need to do Death of Wolverine.
Yes, that we do. I will follow up with Kid Takeoff and get an update on that.
Mm-hmm.
To be determined. But anything you want to promote or final thoughts? Final thoughts, Nick?
Well, tomorrow I have Sentai, one more Sentai video coming out tomorrow, and some Metal Heroes and Comic Corners. I think that's it for tomorrow.
Okay. As for me, please continue. Be on the lookout for some. I'll start some SWTOR playthroughs again. Also, I recently did a collab with Naji Tech Pro on Creature Commandos 1 year later. So I'll probably leave that in the description or pinned up top. And please be on the lookout for my next appearance with Jared from Comics League on CLD. And you can find me on here. Be sure to like and subscribe to the both of us. Nick Lenz, did you change your I'm sorry, Nick, did you change your handle recently, or am I imagining that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, my fault.
It's still the same. I did go on to one of Comics League's streams recently. It was him and Robert talking about Bendis and Superman.
Oh, okay.
I did watch it. I didn't like join them per se. I just went. I was in the chat.
Okay. But I'll keep y'all posted. Like, comment, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. Flame off.